Okay, anybody have any questions?
We're ready, Miss Walters.
Go ahead.
Anything that makes Dave uncomfortable, I'd like to talk about.
Yeah.
Rock and roll. Now that's rock and roll. You in the back. Not
You in the back. No, not you.
No.
You.
How did I first meet the guys in Toto? Let's see.
Wow, how I first met all the guys? Whew.
High school. One of the biggest misconceptions about Toto is that we started out as session players. And what we did is we started out as a high school rock and roll band.
You know, it's a million years ago, but yet it doesn't feel like a million years ago.
Valley. San Fernando Valley kids.
The performance is in the now, but some of it I get transported through a porthole in time, and I'm literally back on stage in high school in an auditorium.
Back then we were sort of freakish, weird young people that had this bizarre dream that we were going to actually do this for real. The quest, whenever you went to a new school, and obviously as musicians, was to find like-minded people and find the best guys.
We used to all kind of compete, playing at each other's schools and dances and stuff like that.
So I heard about Steve Porcaro. Steve had this great band. I went and saw him, Still Life. And there was a second generation from David Page and Jeff Porcaro's band, which was Rural Still Life, because they're a few years older than us. And it was like, okay, I want to play with that guy. That was a life-changing event for me, meeting Steve Porcaro.
The band started with Jeff and David Page, and David was introduced to Jeff through our fathers that were working together on the Glenn Campbell show. We were kind of like a nucleus. We were kind of all these guys from the Valley, and then Bobby Kimball, our lead singer, was kind of someone who was, the one guy that was from somewhere else. He was from Louisiana.
Great times, man. Hungry for it, studying, working, playing. We rehearsed every day after school.
Before we ever started doing sessions, we were playing Rolling Stones music, we were playing Sly and the Family Stone, we were playing Santana, all this stuff in high school, so that by the time we started doing sessions, we were bringing that attitude and that experience of playing on stage live to the studios where guys sit down and they read charts, and it's very business-like kind of thing where people have to, you know, just execute the music right there. I think that was made Toto special, is that we always had this knack for being able to perform live as a unit, as well as come in and being efficient, good enough to play on people's sessions.
You're right there, Lou. I'm okay. This is my real hair, by the way. Who would buy a wig that looks like this anyway?
Wow.
How many years keep on slipping away, and it seems that your life doesn't matter.
To the sad old truth, the dirty low down.
I wonder.
Taught her how to talk like that.
I wonder.
A springboard right there when we got involved with Boz Scaggs on Soaked Degrees, because it first of all, it allowed me to write a whole album, and it became a successful album, so it validated me as a writer. And with Jeff and me and Hungate, and all we had to do was grab him and him from our old band that was in high school, and we were off to the races.
When Dave and I first spoke about doing something to help Mike, there were certain people that I wanted to have back in the lineup to complete it, to be part of the brotherhood that now exists right now, which was Joseph Williams and Steve Porcaro coming back to join us in this, and people that have known Mike for as long as I have, really, pretty much. Obviously Steve's a brother, but you know, Joseph and Dave and I, you know, this close we could have to a bunch of high school friends getting back together to help a high school friend or a family member, depending on how you want to look at that, which I feel family, and what we have right here is a family.
I know I'm here number one for my brother Mike, and I think a lot of the other guys are too. It's kind of making us pull together.
Mikey's got a struggle that I can't imagine. But as a brother, you stand by your brother and his family. as I know he would stand by me if it was me, and as everybody else would stand by everybody else. Now there's a core group of us that have known each other for close to 40 years. That sort of got tightened back up again. We came back together again to do this. You know, we've all had the roller coaster rides, the ups and downs, the ins, the outs. It's hard. I want to grab him, pull him out of the bed, and throw him on the stage and chuck a bass on him and go, "Come on, man!" You know, there's definitely a void there. You know, I mean, Nathan's done a terrific job of sitting in for him. You know, and he's a world-class musician, obviously. But you know, Mike just has a very unique touch the way he plays. You know, and his humor, biting, acerbic, and wonderful. I miss that. But you know, there's enough of us around there keeping that vibe alive that would keep him happy to know that we're constantly roasting each other on a regular, daily basis.
My birthday today, and this is the best present I've ever had in my life, playing at the Atlas Arena in Łódź, Poland. There's different kinds of venues you can get. You can get a theater that has seats in it. They're kind of dead and everybody sits down. But the ideal place is not a huge place, but a place about this size that they have sporting events in, but is nice and live and echoey, where people can feel free. It's a rock and roll show and everything. The fan reception in Poland was so awesome that it made us feel like teenage rock stars again. I'm so glad that we filmed our current live DVD there.
The people were great.
Everything about the whole town, it was a blast, you know. And you know, the reason we shot there was because we knew we had such a big crowd coming, and they seemed to enjoy it.
I think really the main difference between Europe and elsewhere is that the crowds are just huge in Europe.
Feels so great to be back in France again!
I remember back in the 80s, the crowds in Europe just being amazing and the fans really being loyal and into it and everything. And I've experienced no difference. If anything else, the crowd seems to be just getting a little bigger and a little louder and younger, which is cool.
We have a responsibility when we go out to make music. We're not just playing to entertain ourselves in our own area code right here. We're really kind of ambassadors, musical ambassadors of the world here. So when you go out there, I think you have a duty or a responsibility to affect people in a positive way, in a spiritual way, you know? Just try and bring some humanity in this magical connective tissue called music. So fortunate to have a fan base that we do. You can't have any more fun than that or be more blessed than Toto has been with its loyal fans. And we want to thank our fans for being with us for 35 years, because it's mainly been all about you. Otherwise, we'd still be in a garage practicing, waiting for our first gig.
We love Toto!
Big rock show, 10,000 people tonight. We're really happy to be here.
We love him. We really love him. Deeply.
It's good to be here with him. I'm really happy to be here.
Toto, greatest band in the world.
Magical. Mood.
I came to France from the US to finally see Toto. I'm so happy to be here. Amazing. Thank you, Toto.
Very excited to be here. Toto, love you.
And I love them for all my life.
Fabulous.
I can't believe I'm here. I'm so excited. Toto!
We just want to really just kind of thank everybody for hanging in there with us. There's those people that have been there from day one who brought their children into it, and I don't know, it's created this really long, wonderful ride.
They've been so loyal to every incarnation of the group too, you know, which is pretty amazing.
Even when things weren't going particularly really well, man, we hung in there, and now, all these years later, I mean, who knew we would be sitting here, you know? If you'd have told us when we were in school, like, you'd have this career, you'd do all this stuff, and then you'd be sitting here talking about it for a DVD in 2014. I would have said, how could this possibly all happen? But it did.
I love it. Just happiest when I'm out there.
It is a lot of fun. Truly, really, really, it's a lot of fun.
I highly recommend it.
Individual musical styles get brought into a room and chucked into an imaginary blender, if you will. And that's what makes the band sound different than when we work in other projects in other arenas.
Chemistry.
It's a chemistry thing, you know. It's like other people have come in and sat in every one of our chairs in various sessions or records or tours or whatever, and the music is different. Well, you change one personality and the music is going to be different. And something, that's what bands are, that's what great bands, the people that we looked up to and tried to emulate, they had that special something you can't put into words. The Beatles were the on switch to my life. I met George right after Jeff died. And, you know, obviously we were all in a state, you know, we were all just freaked out. And he was very soulful. And George came and played with us at the amphitheater at the Jeff tribute, you know. Tragically and suddenly, we lost Jeff. Dave and Jeff were best friends. I mean, you know, all of us were. But, you know, I'm looking around the room. Are we going to be able to do this? What should we do? Should we or shouldn't we? We even talked to his parents. Kind of got a blessing from the family. And the big thing was like, who were you going to get to sit in that spot? And all of us were just, how do we, you know, you can't replace Jeff Porcaro. It's just not possible and never will be possible, not in this life. So a wild card, I had worked with Simon Phillips on some stuff in Japan with Jeff Beck and Carlos Santana, and we thought Simon would be just weird enough. You know, I thought, well, let me call him and see. And as it turns out, I called him. He was on his way to LA anyway, which is very surreal. I even had a dream once that Jeff came to me in a dream, and I was standing there watching Simon do a sound check. And out of the darkness, this glowing orange, happy, beautiful face of Jeff Porcaro came out in this theater, beautiful theater, wherever it was. It was empty. And Jeff looked up at Simon, looked at me, and he went like, good choice. I think that was a thumbs up approval from beyond, if you will. A lot of really great people came out to help us pay tribute to our brother Jeff, you know, which was a magical night. And then George showed up. From that moment, we started hanging. He would call me at my house and invite me out for dinner and stuff, you know. Truly amazing, you know. And then many years later, you know, I got the call to do Ringo, and this guy, the way he lives his life, the way he looks at it, the way he lives, and his philosophy, I mean, I've sort of taken in watching him go, I could, getting older, I don't fear that, because he's been through it all. And still has an incredible sense of humor, and still he's, you know, so gifted and talented. He's Ringo, man. You know, it's like my friend, you know, bizarre, wonderfully.
Technology's made the touring more consistent, but every once in a while on stage, I have to say I miss the mechanics of an old Fender Rhodes or a Hammond organ or a grand piano, and I think mainly those moments are when my rig goes south for some reason, or
You mean
some
nightly?
technical problem.
To hire a rodeo clown to dance around Dave's rig. Man.
That's called a one-barrel show, in fact, we call that. But every once in a while, because we're using software and we're using digitized samples, and every once in a while, you know, anything can happen during a live show, and it's at that point you miss having the Wurlitzer or the Hammond or the grand piano
and
there.
You cue for the grand piano sound and piccolo flutes come out.
Indeed.
And a zither.
Indeed. and there's
like morphed together. It's quite a sound. Take
Yeah.
the back of your teeth right out.
And cello ostinato from another song.
Right. And it's especially entertaining when there's a spotlight on you, like you're escaping to West Berlin.
I'm telling you, it's comedy like you've never seen before. I've almost stopped breathing from laughing on stage. It always happens to Dave too. You know, it's just God love him. It's just, and he's afraid to look up at me because he knows I'll be the guy staring at him, pissing my pants on stage while thousands of people are watching us. You know, he's trying to pretend like it didn't really happen. It's like 1,000 dB out front. You know, it's hilarious. Even the people see people in the crowd like dogs going, like, what was that? You know. Yeah. He looks up and there's me, tears rolling down on my knees, laughing, not playing, just laughing. I see. I like old. You know, I'm like now. I've gone way back. Now I'm just like plug into the amp with a couple pedals on the ground. I went full circle.
Some guys like to talk about how much better the old stuff was and point out exactly how the old stuff was better. And I'm more into the fact that we're a much more leaner machine and we're able to reach more people and there's more consistency every night. Things like that are trade-offs that I won't, I'm happy to make with bringing out the older gear and all that stuff and, you know what I mean, being a purist that way. I love the new stuff and I love what it enables us to do.
And then there's times when we'll be on stage and we'll just start jamming. It's like I think of it as Toto unleashing the animal, whatever that animal is, the little animal or the big, but it's its own, becomes its own thing. Toto has this sound when we play together. It's like no other band, and it's just the magic of the music, magic of the moment.
What was that unleashing thing again?
Unleashing the little animal.
Yeah, no. I've seen the old shovel head.
We're talking about the little animal here.
My lifelong friendships are now returned in this band, as much as they possibly can be. And I think we're cherishing that, being able to do this again with a different, fresh outlook. And that's come across in this particularly this last year's tour. We've kind of built up to this moment. And it's good. It's good. I'm having a really good time, much better than I've had in long time.
I don't see any reason why we shouldn't just keep going and keep getting better and stronger. I think the future of Toto could be incredibly bright from this point on. Everybody's just healthier. We all know each other's moves. It's just really, really strong. We all get along and love each other. And in my opinion, the band's not going anywhere.
You are right, guys. Thank you so much.
Nathan East to head and makeup.
Well, we did get better, and we eventually played our own records, and we were so influenced by the Monkees that we are here today.
The messiness in between, you know what I mean? It's like making sausage, you really don't want to see how it's done,
It's like a f***ing zoo.
Foul, foul man, but we love him.
I feel the love. Come on.
All right, you done with this? Do I leave this on? Do I take this off?
More to come.
End slate.